Hello, my name is Dylan Thomas, and today I'll be talking about Chapter 13, focusing on motivation, teaching, and learning. Motivation is important to understand as a teacher because recent studies have shown that motivated students are more likely to retain information better, but also participate more actively in class. But before we can talk about motivation and its uses in the class, we first need to understand what motivation is. The book defines motivation as the process that energizes, directs, and sustains behaviors. But a more simple definition is the reason or reasons one has for acting or behaving in a particular way. From here, we can talk about two main types of motivation: extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. Extrinsic motivation comes from getting something done because of outside factors. These can range from simple rewards like candy or compliments, or to avoid punishment, like getting something done as a means to an end or to avoid scolding. The teacher I interviewed, Dr. Yates, has many intrinsic and extrinsic motivators in her class to encourage her students. One example of an extrinsic motivator is her galleon system. These galleons are given out infrequently when a student does well on an assignment or does something remarkable in class, encouraging students to be on their best behavior at all times. Another example of extrinsic motivation in her classroom is her housing system. Students are randomly assigned a house, and the percent of homework turned in is kept as a score below the banner, with the highest at the end of the 9 weeks getting a pizza party, encouraging students to turn in their work while also motivating them by having them compete against each other through social motivation. Social motives are the motivation that comes from our need to interact with others and gain acceptance and approval from them. This acceptance and approval can range from peers, teachers, and even parents, as students crave approval from all three. Many children who do not do well in school consist of having negative interaction with teachers in the past, demonstrating how necessary a connection between the two truly is. While Dr. Yates may use extrinsic motivation in her class more often, that doesn't mean she doesn't see the value in intrinsic motivation, as she has the students complete a passion project. This project, students can research anything they're interested in, and it can range from creating a song, baking food, to even researching why people watch TV. When asked, Dr. Yates feels that most students respond to extrinsic motivation better because, while students are naturally curious about the world around them, if students are intrinsically motivated to learn about what you are teaching them, extrinsic motivators like candy can keep them on track while you can begin to interest the students through the topic that you're teaching. The most common and well-known type of motivational perspective is the behavioral perspective. This perspective focuses on external punishment and rewards. Dr. Yates said this was the most effective way to keep young students motivated, as kids in the 6th grade range respond strongly to clear expectations and rewards. While the most well-known perspective is the behavioral, the cognitive perspective is currently the most dominant. That is because the behavioral perspective only focuses on observable actions, while the cognitive perception tries to understand how and why students think and learn the ways that they do. The perspective that focuses on understanding behavior is the humanistic perspective. While the cognitive perspective focuses on the scientific way that people think, the humanistic perspective takes a human view of that area. The humanistic perspective focuses on personal growth, emotions, and an individual's desire to reach their full potential. This perspective directly aligns with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, with the peak of the hierarchy being self-actualization, or the motivation to reach one's true potential. The hierarchy of needs also goes in depth on what students need to be able to reach that elusive goal. The hierarchy's base starts off at physiological needs like hunger, thirst, and sleep. From there, we move on to mental roadblocks like the feeling of safety, belongingness, and self-esteem, in that order. Dr. Yates agrees with this statement and says students that have tough home lives, like divorced or uncaring parents, are often the hardest to motivate. Self-efficacy is very similar to self-actualization, with the key difference being that self-actualization is the process of becoming the best you that you can be, while self-efficacy, on the other hand, is the mental state behind that thought. It is the personal belief that you can achieve something. Some ways that Dr. Yates inspires self-efficacy in her class is through achievable but challenging goals. When students conquer these challenges, it builds confidence in them. Other ways she encourages self-efficacy is through creating a supportive classroom environment, which is one of the best ways to encourage students with achievement difficulties as well. While there are many different forms of achievement difficulties, Dr. Yates says that there is one method that works for most students. She says to get on their level and to relate to them personally. This makes the student feel valued and supported, increasing their motivation and willingness to learn in your classroom. Failure syndrome is another type of achievement difficulty. Failure syndrome is having low expectations for success and giving up at the first sign of difficulty. Methods to help students with this condition is to implement scaffolding and to build their confidence. Dr. Yates does this by allowing a student to lead the class on a topic that they feel confident on. Procrastination also falls under the umbrella of achievement difficulties and can be caused by many things. Students with low self-efficacy and low achievement motivation tend to procrastinate along with students who don't even try in order to protect their own self-worth. Ways that Dr. Yates addresses students who procrastinate is to break down large assignments into smaller, more manageable ones. The final achievement difficulty I'll be talking about today is perfectionism. Perfectionism is the act of feeling obligated to get full marks on assignments, or they experience severe anxiety. Perfectionism is also related to procrastination through the fear of failure, leading some students to be unable to even start because they are scared to even try. Overall, in the classroom, motivation is at the heart of learning. When teachers understand what drives a student, whether it's their curiosity, social connection, or just the desire to succeed itself, they can inspire students to reach their full potential.